The global economy was jolted this week as President Donald Trump announced a new 15% tariff. This tariff targets goods imported from China by America's retail giants, Target, Walmart, and Amazon. The move marks a sharp escalation in US-China trade tensions, sending shockwaves through international markets. Many remember the fallout from previous trade disputes fueling widespread unease. The timing is notable. Global stability is already fragile, with geopolitical crises compounding the uncertainty. Russia's intensified military actions in Ukraine add to the volatile environment. The direct targeting of major retailers highlights the administration's intent to disrupt established supply chains. Everyday items, electronics, clothing, household goods, are all in the crosshairs of this new levy. The administration claims the goal is to reshape critical trade relationships, but the immediate concern is rising costs for consumers. The announcement comes just before increased tariffs on steel and aluminum, signaling a broader, more aggressive trade strategy. The world now waits to see how China will respond and how American businesses will adapt. Early warnings of economic repercussions are already being voiced. This new chapter in trade relations demands careful navigation from all sides. President Trump frames these tariffs as central to his Economic Patriotism Act, aiming to reduce U.S. reliance on Chinese manufacturing. He insists American companies must put America first, or pay the price. The 15% tariff targets goods imported by Walmart, Target, and Amazon, from electronics to apparel. Trump's strategy is to force these retailers to shift sourcing, even at higher short-term costs. This approach echoes his broader use of tariffs as leverage in trade negotiations. The day after the retail tariff, the administration doubled steel and aluminum tariffs to 50% for most partners, except Britain. The White House is demanding new trade offers from partners to avoid further levies. Trump argues these tough measures are vital for long-term prosperity and national security. Economists remain divided on whether this economic patriotism will deliver the promised benefits. Walmart, Amazon, and Target quickly warned customers of looming price hikes and shipping delays. These retailers now face the challenge of absorbing or passing on new costs directly impacting consumers. The 15% tariff forces a rapid overhaul of sourcing and pricing strategies. For companies with thin margins, the sudden cost spike is daunting. Analysts predict price increases could hit shelves as soon as next week. Target in particular may face billions in costs to restructure supply chains. Finding alternative suppliers or renegotiating contracts will take time and money. The scale of their reliance on China makes a quick pivot nearly impossible. Consumers should brace for higher prices and ongoing disruptions. China responded immediately, condemning the U.S. tariffs as economic aggression. Beijing retaliated with a 25% tariff on key American agricultural products like soybeans and beef. This move targets Trump's political base and puts pressure on U.S. farmers. China is also considering restrictions on American tech products, such as iPhones assembled in China. Additionally, China has begun limiting exports of rare earth minerals, crucial for global manufacturing. These restrictions are already causing disruptions, with some European auto plants suspending output. China's willingness to leverage critical resources adds a new layer of risk. American businesses and global supply chains are bracing for further shocks. The trade war's complexity and stakes have never been higher. The US-China trade dispute is unfolding amid rising global instability. Russia's intensified attacks on Ukraine and NATO's heightened alert add to the tension. European leaders like France's Macron warn that US protectionism threatens global stability. The EU and Canada are frustrated by new US steel and aluminum tariffs, with Canada preparing possible retaliation. Even close allies are being drawn into the widening net of American protectionism. Only the UK has secured a temporary trade deal, highlighting the pressure on others to negotiate. The combination of trade wars and military conflicts is unsettling international relations. Allies and adversaries alike are scrambling to adapt to the new landscape. The world faces a more fractured, unpredictable future. Global cooperation is under severe strain. The new tariffs and China's retaliation sent global markets tumbling. The Dow Jones dropped 600 points, and tech stocks took a hit. Oil prices spiked, reflecting fears of disrupted trade and rising geopolitical risk. The American Automotive Policy Council warns that higher steel and aluminum costs will hurt U.S. carmakers. The Congressional Budget Office projects a decline in U.S. economic output due to the tariffs. Oxford Economics estimates the metals tariffs alone could cut business investment by up to 0.5%. Billions in deferred investments could slow innovation and productivity. These impacts will be felt by businesses and workers across the economy. Everyday Americans will see higher prices at major retailers as companies pass on costs. Farmers face the loss of crucial Chinese markets for exports like soybeans and beef. The global supply chain, still fragile from the pandemic, braces for more strain. Shortages and delays could worsen for consumers worldwide. The economic fallout is just beginning. The world faces a new era of economic uncertainty as tariffs and geopolitical tensions rise. Experts warn of a potential economic Cold War, with protectionist blocs and strategic decoupling. The global supply chain, already stressed, now faces renewed pressure and costly reconfigurations. President Trump's unpredictable trade tactics add to the uncertainty, making long-term planning difficult. Allies and adversaries alike struggle to find stable footing. The July 8th deadline for broader U.S. tariffs looms, raising the stakes for new trade deals. China's ongoing response, especially regarding critical resources, will be pivotal. The reactions of the EU, Canada, and others will shape the next phase of these conflicts. For businesses and consumers, the coming months will demand vigilance and adaptability. The future of global commerce hangs in the balance.